Hello, everybody. Welcome back to James and Flav. For now, we are with our beautiful patrons right now. If you want to become a patron, then you can join the over 500 now noshy, lovely people that join us most weeks. We had a proper therapy session yesterday on the mailbag, so you can enjoy that. And the 122 patron mailbags that we have just sitting there. And you see the evolution of the podcast.
Enough of this. Enough of all this. Yeah. Enough of all this. Jim, I've got a question for you.
Links in the description.
Ten Hag, does he have to resign to save his career? Manchester United are a sinking ship.
Is enough enough? Is that what are you saying?
I just think everyone's going, oh, he might not make the season. Maybe he should go, actually, I can't do this. This is crazy. This is mental. We've got £160 million of player. One, who's been charged with all sorts. The other one I've had a massive falling out with. It's too much for him, and I think he should resign from Manchester United.
He's at the brim. Is he? Reece said Ten Hag's released a statement saying, I can't do this anymore. That's a good question. Who will be the first? Which club will be at the stage where it's I can't do this anymore first? I think Man United are right up there. They have a horrible game this weekend.
Well,
An absolute.
Are we doing the sack race? Should we do the sack race?
But is it?
Who's going to win the sack race?
I'm not calling this the sack race. This isn't the sack race for me. This is very different. This is what we spoke about last year on the pod, which was not about being able to leave or leaving or should leave or has to go. It's about staying but at the same time being so exasperated that you're at a stage where you can't do this anymore. We both got there last year and we're both here this season, right? As are many football fans. But so Ten Hag, I don't think you could sack Ten Hag or he could resign. He's stuck. He can't leave. He wouldn't. There's no way he resigns from Man United. There's absolutely no way.
But I guess that would be the first time that's ever happened. Someone's just gone, do you know what? This is too much of a mess. I'm resigning. Has any manager ever walked away from Man United?
That's a great question. I don't know.
Let us know.
Patrons, can you let us know that? Can someone do the research on that whilst we're chatting away? Because that is we talk about power moves. And that's strong, isn't it? Bold. Let me ask this question. This is great. So, because I honestly don't think he could be. I don't think he could be sacked, even if he gets out of the Champions League group. Say they don't get through the Champions League group.
Yeah,
I don't think he gets the sack, and I don't think he can resign either.
He definitely doesn't get the sack because look what he's having to manage. It's just been grenade after grenade after grenade since he got there. He's had an abnormal amount of problems to solve while trying to just do a really difficult job in managing a Premier League football team.
Monday, he must have just been like, on Monday when he's like, oh, I probably should have said that. The old Sancho thing. God.
Kind of needing
morning briefing. Oh, I didn't really see that. Oh God, something's up in there. Hang on. I didn't really see that coming. Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, because Greenwood's gone as well. So I sort of, our right wing options are a little bit tight now, aren't they? Thank God we've got Anthony. Is he ready for training? Look, I really want to get my arms around him. Give him a chance. Fuck.
He's been accused.
Although he's pleading his innocence, isn't he? Very, very.
Of course, strongly. But let's not talk about it because who knows. But Sancho's that in this. This would have been a perfect time for him. Like training or not training, he would have to be played. But now Ten Hag cannot go back on his word. He cannot go back to Sancho and go, actually, do you mind playing for me? Because he's drawn the line in the sand. He's made his point. Why didn't Sancho play? He wasn't training. He training poorly, therefore he couldn't be included. Sancho's gone out. Bollocks. Absolute bollocks. I was training. I'm fine. So now there's like this impasse between them. What they should both do is get together and say, look, let's as adults, let's sort this out so we can move forward as a club.
Yeah.
But I don't think Ten Hag, you lose some credibility with the other players if you backtrack in your moment of need. He should do that, but I don't think he will, and therefore, yeah, he has a problem. But you're right. I don't think you can't sack Ten Hag because he's had too much to deal with. He's just can't even just manage his team. But Ten Hag might look at it, and he won't. You're right. No one walks away from Manchester United. Might look at it and go, forget about all this. Let's just forget about all this.
I wouldn't. Yeah, I don't think someone at some point is going to go, this is rubbish. I thought this was going to be really good fun. It's awful. I'm not going to do it. I don't think he is. I don't think he's that man.
I'm hating this.
This is rubbish, guys. I thought this was going to be fun. I thought you guys were going to ask me all these fun questions. You keep seeming to be poking at the different, insecurities I seem to have. This is not fun at all. Will, one of our moist slugs, says he's got the highest win percentage of any United manager ever.
That is what?
True?
What, higher than Alex Ferguson? Who said that?
Well, Fergie had a tough few years, didn't he, to start with, if you remember?
Yeah, he had 2 years where he didn't win anything, didn't he? They're actually talking
more
about
than
that.
Him. I think he had...
Was it more
86, 86 he got there. I think the first thing he won was, I want to say 1990. Like, yeah, I want to say something like that. It was like the FA Cup or something. So it was a while, for sure. The... Yeah, he obviously can't walk away.
That is incredible to me. Like no, see, it's not true, is it? Because I've just googled it and it's not true. Why say that?
What's not true
about Ten Hag?
What?
I don't know. Hang on a minute. Maybe it is true.
Oh, what, the highest win percentage?
Yeah, I can't find it.
Thank you, Jamie Moran. Correct, 90. Jamie, we need to talk as well. By the way, I want to chat.
He doesn't. Michael Carrick does 3 games. He managed. He had 66%.
Well, and look how he's doing. So management is a tough gig.
Has a 65% win percent. 55%, 65% win percentage.
Right.
What does that? I mean, Manchester United even a big club because it doesn't feel like Ten Hag. It doesn't even feel like Ten Hag has done that well. He's won a League Cup, right?
Yeah.
And then yet he's their most successful manager in terms of win percentage. Like, Manchester United even more?
What are they? They need to be bigger for me. They need to be bigger than you are. Who's a bigger club, Man United or their opponents this weekend? Brighton. Talk about banana skin. Because what's going to be interesting now is the fact that, first of all, there are some banana skin games this weekend. Second of all, there's going to be, what I'm looking forward to now is, so in the football season, you have first chunk of games, international break. Okay, what have we learned, right? Then you get the second little group of games. Then there's another international break. Now, in this pocket of games, the stories of the season are set and new narratives are created. And we will dive into several of them each week on The Narrative, which is a great series. Get involved, join the Discord server, links in the description. But what are new narratives that we can see will arrive for different people? So I'll chuck one out there because I keep hearing it, and I guess the reason I keep hearing it is because I did something with Sam Matterface before the season started, and he said several times, and I thought that's quite a good line. He said, Man United will do well because they won't lose 8 games away from home again, like they did last season. 8 games away from home. Now, what's now being seen as a sort of narrative about Ten Hag? It's slow. It's like things are like little. There's sort of there's a magnetic force to certain things sometimes, and gently over time, once there's enough evidence, it will get locked on to someone. And the thing I think, the narrative that could get chucked on Ten Hag incredibly easily, is that he's rubbish away from home. That he can't manage away from home. That's the new narrative for Ten Hag, I think. Just chucking one out.
Yeah, hasn't he lost like 9 in 10 or something? He's drawn 1 and lost 9.
I think his away record is pretty bad. Yeah, but is that really? But is that a thing? Right? Is that a thing? Like, oh, I'm just not very good at managing away from home. Is that actually a thing?
No, that shouldn't be. No, certainly there should be no such. That should never be attributed to a club like Manchester United. Shouldn't even be a thing that's attached to them. So the fact that it is a thing is maybe.
But hang on, are they a big club or are they a small club? You need to make a decision.
Manchester United are the biggest club in the world, which is what's alarming about it all, is because they don't feel or they're not operating like one, and they haven't done for a while. And I don't know if it's just like the 20 years of Alex Ferguson, which meant that the Ferguson institution, made them fundamentally the club that that we know them to be. I get that they were big before that, right? Of course that, but Ferguson was such a massive thing just in football that it's almost impossible to replace. Because you look at their expenditure and you compare it to Manchester City's, and there's not a huge difference. There really isn't. I think Manchester United probably spent more. So. In the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Why haven't they operated in a way and done things that Manchester City have done? They're not operating like a big club, and it's down to the leadership. It's down to, and what I'm saying by operating like a big club, I'm not just saying spending money. I'm making get the decisions correctly.
Well, yeah, that's it. Because I redid my predictions this week, and just before I did it, I finished up. I was sort of giving Man United, I was allowing them to be higher in my predictions due to the fact that this is Man United.
Yeah.
No, actually, as I say, like their game this week, if you can have Brighton's squad or Man United's squad, like whose squad do you want right now? I would suggest the overall.
Swap the personnel directly.
Yeah, you swap the shirts.
Yeah.
I think the overall personnel, and yeah, you can swap managers as well. Right. I think Brighton. That's why I put Brighton above Man United. I think they'll do better than Man United this year, especially because the thing to remember here is that I'm talking about this not before the season started, where I put them third. I think fourth. I'm putting them lower. I think I've got them sixth now, fifth, which I guess still gets Champions League football. But I'm doing that because of the injuries, like literally the names in their squad. It looks today as a bad squad. Like it does.
And it's the most expensively assembled one in the Premier League, isn't it?
I just think these next few games are absolutely huge for them. Like a home game against Brighton is so tough. And
yeah, it's tough.
They need to win it, really.
Because
you're going to start getting cut adrift.
I would wonder what Man United fans, if they just said, right, you're essentially just going to swap players and swap manager, would they take it?
That's a great question.
Matoma is a better forward. He's better than all of their attacking midfielders.
Let's go through this.
Or wide players.
Let's go through the squad. Because I think I did this on the Ripple Effect this week.
You'll have Manchester United fans saying Garnacho is better than Matoma, and he isn't.
Yeah.
But United fans will say that, and they'll swear by it, I'm pretty sure. But if you in real terms, if you could swap them two players, you would do it in an instant.
Okay. Anyway. Or maybe just as the simple answer is, do you really want them there? Right? Martial, do you really want him there? No. Højlund, do you really want him there? Yes. Diallo,
no.
I would want him there. Yes. Shatiri, I don't know enough about him, so probably not bothered. Rashford, yes. Fernandes, yes. Casemiro, yes. Anthony, would if you say to me, he plays on the right hand side, doesn't he? You got him or Solly March. I bet his numbers, and I can do it quickly. His numbers.
Solly March's numbers are much better.
Solly March is miles better. Miles better. Like I can't say that enough.
But this is what I'm saying, and Man United fans, and I'm sure they may be annoyed by this and getting annoyed by what I'm saying.
Of course.
There isn't a United a fan out there would swap Anthony for Solly March, but they should.
If I spell his name wrong. I'm looking like an idiot.
It's MAR. It's March, like the month, isn't it?
No, Anthony. Is there an H in it?
I don't think so.
Right,
well, look, United fan. Actually, I've got a question for you, Jim, and I know what the correct answer is. So you could be wrong here, but okay. It's not like your reputation depends on it or anything. But Evan Ferguson or Højlund?
Evan, who will have a better career?
Who would you rather have starting for QPR? The answer is obviously Ferguson. He's obviously Ferguson.
Why? Why is it obviously Ferguson? I'd have Højlund.
No, you wouldn't.
I think I would.
I'm fucking telling you wouldn't, Jim.
Right. So why would you have Ferguson?
He's proven at, what is he, 18? That he can bang goals in the Premier League, no problem. His ceiling is through the roof.
Can I provide an epic reframe?
He's had a better career thus far than Højlund.
Can I provide an epic reframe here? Now, and we've got another one we want to talk about because we want to talk about Jude Bellingham as well. I want to talk about that. So here's an epic reframe for you. Now, I've said this in private. I'm not sure I've said this in public, right? Yeah, and this is going to... I know there's a certain person that I love very much called Nando, and he is going to fucking hate this. And this is... Now, don't... With all due respect, and keep calm as I say this, because I like Evan Ferguson. I think he's going to have an unbelievable career. The fact he's doing what he's doing at 18 is outrageous. The fact he's even in the Brighton team is wonderful and actually a bigger tip of the cap than anything he's done. But what I have to say is his hat-trick against Newcastle was mid. It was average.
So what?
It was
so what?
Because right.
It could bounce off him 3 times. It doesn't matter.
But that doesn't make you awesome either.
I'm not saying it does. I'm saying that he's a better. You can.
What I'm saying, Flav, is saying Evan Ferguson is great, but the decision to decide if he's good or not has been based by a lot of people on the fact that he scored 3 goals in a football match. And I get why they've done that, but that's incorrect because if you look at those 3 goals, it's a really poor mid-level hat trick it's a really mid-level hat trick because of the defending around him and how the goals came. And I can go through them for you.
That's a wonderful calm take. It is, but that's a really lovely calm take.
Do you know what I mean? So let me go through them. Right, first goal he scores is like a tapping off a rebound from terrible goalkeeping from Nick Pope, right?
Yeah.
So that's a goal, right? And he's tapped that in. Second one, it's a great strike, but he should never get that shot off. He should never get that shot off. He has too much space, and that's because he's playing for a great team who's discombobulating the opposition. Third goal is this like naughty deflection that sneaks into the bottom corner. So to suggest that he's worth 150 million because he scored 3 goals in a football match is silly to me.
I don't think. Right? No. I like it. I like that. I appreciate it. I really do.
That's my necessary epic reframe. There you go.
Epic reframe, right? But the thing is, Jim, is it was that he was rated before he scored the 3 goals. People are like, this kid is...
Not to this level, though, I don't think. I think it's like gone up a notch. Understandably so, but it's top line shit.
It kind of, just what I'm saying, it reinforced what people were saying about him.
I don't think that's what I'm saying. I don't think it does reinforce. I don't think it reinforces anything.
Okay. But I'm willing to concede on that, and I wasn't one of the guys that was saying that the hat trick, made him look like an elite Premier League striker. Yeah. You've got to be in the right positions. You've got to put yourself in the right position to get the ball in.
Yeah.
But just comparing him to Højlund at United, Højlund's done it in a league that doesn't even matter. I don't even know if it exists. Where did he score it? So Serie A or something like that, was it?
Atalanta.
Oh, right, that club.
Yeah.
So that's good for him. He's done it in Italy, has he? Good. It's not the Premier League. I really want to wind people up this. I'm not. I am trying to.
Right.
Saying that I'm not sure if the Serie A even exists. That's
I think
a little bit disrespectful.
Like your tongue is through your cheek at this stage. I don't think anyone's really kind of taking that one. Can I look the Anthony Solly March though? That's what I'm saying is I think all that glitters is not gold. And Brighton are. At what point are we going to say Brighton are just a better team and club than Man United?
Right, Brighton are a better run club, hands down. Brighton are a better run club than most clubs in the Premier League. But
if they're a better club, and they've got a better manager, which is another debate. I'm not sure if I agree with that or not. And then they've got a better squad overall. Then aren't they better? Do you know what I mean? Like that's what I mean. Like
at this stage, they're better.
It looks like shit, it smells like shit. Do you know what I mean?
It's about happiness, right? How happy are the fans? Brighton fans are ecstatic. United fans are about as miserable as they've ever been. That tells you everything.
Yeah.
I bet Man United absolutely smashed Brighton at the weekend. After you said all that. 29
games, 4 goals for Anthony, 2 assists. I think we're being unset. Let's go on last season alone. 22-23. Does that happen? There you go. 33 games, 29 games, 7 goals, 7 assists, 4 goals, 2 assists. Solly March is a better player than Anthony. according to this.
I think he is better. I don't think it's a.
The counter argument to that is, but is it again the similar thing where Solly March isn't a better player than Anthony, but Solly March is playing in a great team
system that suits him.
All of that.
Yeah, all of that's important as well. But you look at that Man United side and the confidence, the commitment and the faith that they've put in Anthony, and he hasn't delivered, I don't think. And the players need it so much more than just ability. They like I've said so many times, you need the right manager, you know, right tactics, right system, right players around you. But I think Anthony has all of that because he had all of that with him at Ajax. He was literally bought by Ten Hag over to United. He's got everything in place to perform, and he isn't. But you're right. I think all of these players, all of Brighton players, benefit massively from how well run that football club is and having the right managers about. I mean, Casado looks like half. I don't know, it's early days, and I've got a vested interest because it is Chelsea, and I want him to fail, right?
Yeah,
but he's looked like half the player. Well, they all have.
But again, isn't that like? I guess it's expectation. It's fresh ideas. It's a team having less egos. It's all of those things. That's what maybe Basuma walked into. Well, Basuma's a great player. Is a great player, but like walked into something that, he then all of a sudden is not a good player anymore. So maybe it's not as simple as that. Like coming back to this Man United squad though, again in terms of do you really want them there? Because I think you can. If you're a Man United fan, you've got to, you got to back your team, and you've got to suggest that, like Jadon Sancho is obviously a good footballer, should have a good career, and is having overall a great career, but needs to, obviously needs to move on. So again, they don't really definitely want him there. I think there's about 40% of the Man United fans that aren't sure about Mason Mount. Garnacho they want there, and they're Yanazaying him. I think he's better than that. And I actually, before people get angry about that, I put him as a wonder kid before he made his debut. So we know he's awesome, but it's a lot of pressure on the lad. Ask,
if he didn't have blonde hair, would they rate him as highly?
I think they just about would. Oh, same question back to you. Would people rate Scott McTominay more highly if he wasn't Scottish?
Yeah. Would there be this sort of slightly patronising? Oh, he's actually really good for Postecoglou if he wasn't Australian?
Sorry, would there not be? Or do you think, would there not
I'm saying, look, everyone's going. Everyone's like
less love.
Yeah, but it was almost like he can manage. Is that attitude based on the fact that he's Greek Australian? Yes.
Yeah. But also, would you say? I was thinking about this. Do you think he's getting extra love because of the ability to tap into another English-speaking country?
Yes. Is he getting extra love merely because he talks like a normal human being, like we do?
Yeah, definitely.
Like he's getting a lot of credit, and I'm all here. I'm here all for it. But it's not. It's obscene how popular he's becoming in the last week or so.
It's alarming to use a word that someone loved earlier in the pod.
So we were talking about this on the pod. Is like, shit. We were under the radar for about 10 days because we were on. Like I was like, it's going to be like Poch, right? Where we know we're good. We're watching our team, but people won't pick up on this,
right?
But because he's sort of become so super popular, everyone knows now.
But it's also like he's refreshing and. Tottenham are newsworthy because like the whole joke of like they couldn't, could they? I mean, they could, but they couldn't, but they won't, but they could. Like that is Tottenham are in that lovely little space right now, and that's what we're always. Well, that's what football, punditry is. Like that's what we're saying. That's why we spend 20 minutes talking about Man United and going through their squad because they're actually 3 games away from going. Ten Hag, what a manager to keep winning games with this squad. It's amazing.
Of course they are.
But when you're in the space, you're newsworthy. And Tottenham are in the space in the other direction.
So do you remember what the warning I gave to Arsenal fans? Not warning. It was a bit of advice. It was just like, love this moment. Because it changes. It changes. And the expectation comes in and, Actually, what I would say from the Arsenal fans I've spoken to, done a couple of bits where I've had to speak to Arsenal fans, and they're actually doing quite well at saying, "No, it's still not us. It's still not us, and it's still not us."
Yeah,
like it's not. We're not there yet. I don't know what else they need to do to get there, or in their head what they think is going to happen to get there. But they're saying what they have currently is. I'm not sure if they believe it. I think they maybe believe it. I don't know.
I think they're afraid. They're afraid to believe. They're afraid of getting hurt. Year. Yeah. They're on Love Island, but they were on last season's Love Island, and they really were they were really excited about Love Island last year, and they got their hearts broken. And this year, okay, I'm gonna go participate in Love Island, but I'm not really looking for love. Really, I'm just looking for a holiday.
I'm just here.
Yeah, but
I'm just here for the dick.
Yeah. What I think, like for a couple of last year, it was like what was the month when Arsenal believed? Do you know what I mean? Was it January? Was it November? When did Arsenal fans like low key to themselves go, do you know what? We've got a fucking chance here.
Feb, I reckon January, Feb.
Do you think? I thought it was earlier than that. I think, in terms of, do you remember all the videos of like, are they really title contenders? I mean, I definitely made one of those with Rory, I'm sure.
Yeah, of course.
And it was like, I remember saying it was like the World Cup. It was like, they need to get to the World Cup in a good space, and so that like they can come back and go, okay, right, here we go. Let's go again. So prior to the World Cup, they were dreaming, if they're honest, and we'll get comments going, oh, I was never one of those. It's like, shut up. QPR have won 2 games. We're 16th in the league, and somehow I'm spinning it into we got a chance of getting in the playoffs this year. So we're all like this, right?
Yeah, of course. But I haven't met a single gooner who will admit to going, I wanted Arteta out. Apparently all of them went, I know, I always backed him. It's bollocks. Loads of you wanted him out. I would say 90% of you. When he lost those first 3 games, away to Brentford and the other games you lost, you can't tell me there were a couple of people going, trust the process. I get that. But other than those people, there are an absolute chasm filled full of them who wanted Arteta out, but I have yet to met one. Magically, every single one I've met.
Especially when you make content, I think you should have to address when you have to go, even if it's like Darwin Núñez. Like I think actually I'm probably wrong now, because I get it. I can get it a bit more now, which I don't totally agree with that, but that could be the one that's thrown at me. I have to at least address it, right? For the people like who's it? Like Troops was definitely Arteta out.
What did you say?
I said, I said he's not Haaland, basically. That's all I said, really.
Right. The Troops made T-shirts of it.
Right. Who's the other one who's like this? The other one who just gives a horrible energy? Lee Gunner, is it?
Oh fucking yeah, mate. Yeah.
He is he Arteta out as well?
I think. I presume so. I think he was. The clips I've seen on TikTok of stuff. Well, he was, and I don't think he doesn't strike me as the kind of that he will go back and go, actually, I was wrong.
Up. Yeah, true.
Yeah, no, I think that if you printed T-shirts with Arteta out, you shouldn't be able to enjoy what Arsenal fans are enjoying currently. Shouldn't be allowed. It's too bold a thing.
Yeah,
because what have you done? What have you done to contribute to this apart from trying to destroy it?
Yeah, you
tried to destroy it. So why now you're going? Oh, right, I'm sorry. No, it's not good enough. You tried to destroy this and ruin it for everybody. You had, and this is a man who has influence, right? Troops has influence over the way some Arsenal fans think about their football club. That influence can create a movement, can create an idea. Arteta isn't good enough. Social media campaigns, and it can actually lead into, issues at the club eventually.
Yeah.
So you shouldn't be allowed to enjoy it.
I kind of agree. We've just said we're talking about Man United and we're having like a bit of fun with it because neither of us are Man United fans. But Man United fans, they have to play an element and go, okay, I'm really concerned about this, and this. But let's contribute. Let's stick together. Let's look. We've got Rashford who's world class. We've got Fernandes who's world class. Mason Mount. Let's put our arm around him because if he can do a job on the right wing, then you've got to contribute, like you're saying. So I agree with that. Right, we've got lots to get through here. Can we do epic reframes? Because I know that I got a message this morning after yesterday's mailbag. We were talking about Jude Bellingham. And I'm not sure if we've got full time to talk about Jude Bellingham.
Can I just make a statement about him and we don't have to talk about it?
Oh, well, we need to talk about the epic reframe, though, don't we?
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to make a quick statement. I don't, and this is inspired by Luke, who's just said any Bellingham chat yet. I don't understand. I have no clue why Birmingham City fans are. It's like Birmingham are winning, or Birmingham are playing for Real Madrid. He left your club. He left your club before he'd even started, and now you've retired his jersey. Come on.
Right. So I got a message from one of our patrons, Luke, who's in the chat right now. Luke said I might have to put forward a reply for the epic reframe that retiring Jude Bellingham's shirt was a good decision. Because it is, let's be honest, it is aging as well as it could. Do you know what I mean?
No.
Once you've made that decision,
yes,
and you're hoping that somehow that can age well enough. So you've basically spat in a cup, right? You've put you've then put some mouthwash in, you put a bit of water in, you put a bit of coffee in, and you've chucked it in a cellar. And you're hoping that that's going to turn into a fine wine. That's what's occurred here, right? And it was a ballsy thing to do. Now, since then, Jude Bellingham, I don't think I've ever believed in a footballer as much as I believe in Jude Bellingham in terms of how wonderful he is. Like, I've never I remember thinking, well, okay, Gerrard can kind of do what he wants. I think Bellingham's better than that. I think Bellingham can do whatever he wants. And he, as someone who played in centre midfield, and my thing was, I don't have the physical attributes, but I can try and be maybe a bit smarter and put out fires, whatever. He is the utter nightmare. He is the nightmare. He is trouble. He is everything you don't want to play against because he's faster than you. He's taller than you. He wants to win the ball more than you. He wants to be on the ball more than you. He's got this ugly little snarl about him. He'll wind you up as well. He's
also better than you.
He's just generally better than everyone.
Yeah.
He will run into spaces. Like his goal is a great example. And I remember seeing this in Qatar. It's like he's just constantly on the move, eating grass. And so he plays a pass, and then all of a sudden he's in the center of the penalty box, putting the ball in the corner of the net. He is horrible to play against. And he will win a major tournament with England. Fact. There's obviously so much discussion, and it's often. I spoke about this in detail on the Ripple Effect this week with HLTCO, talking about the sort of the Southgate conversation that comes out every international break because there's nothing else to talk about. And also the reason for it sometimes I think is because we're so far away from the actual tournament that it's like you can chuck it out there. But regardless of Southgate, England will win a major tournament because this guy is a problem. He's unbelievable. I've never seen anything like it. He's legit. You can't. There's nothing in. There's nothing that will prevent him from getting to the very top of the game. That said, Flav.
What?
That said, retiring his jersey is one of the most pathetic things I've ever seen. Unwritten rule. We're mixing different things here, but unwritten rule. You cannot retire a shirt, and I think someone said this in the mailbag yesterday. You cannot retire a shirt unless you've played at least. I think this person said 900 games, which obviously maybe a bit ridiculous, but at least 300 games for a football club. You cannot have a shirt retired, and you have to have won something. Not been mid-table championship. Not old enough to have sex, as you said yesterday, and you've played less than 100 games for a team. You can't.
I agree. Yeah. Apparently, according to some of the comments, it's saying that they retired the shirt because the funds saved the club.
Funds for what? What do you mean?
Well, hang on.
Not having to
25 million. There's obviously 25 million in transfers. Well, how much did they raise from shirt sales?
Yeah.
That doesn't sound right, Tom.
No, I'm not calling that, Tom.
I'm not having that bullshit, Tom.
No.
Tommy bullshit.
Ollie Sage says it's cringe, but you are totally missing the point. I'm not missing the point. That cannot age well enough. Bellingham could be, as I've just said, he will be known as one of the greatest England players of all time, and I think if I'm picking teams for a World 11, he's in the top 5, 6 maybe, right? But you can't retire a child's shirt.
I would rather my club go into administration than retire a child's shirt.
Yeah. Start
That's
again.
the level.
If that comes on my door and I've got to make the decision, I just go, what? So it's
Start
FC.
again.
We're going to have to go with an FC QPR if we don't retire the shirt.
Right, let's do it.
Let's do it.
You've got to start with the bottom of the football pyramid.
Maybe we do need a reset then, because I'm not doing it. I'm not signing that off. Right, Luke, what have you got to say for yourself? Come on, I'm waiting for a paragraph here.
Tom, he just says we're clueless. Tom Jordan said he could have gone for nothing, but signed a pro contract to make sure they got the funds as soon as they were in the shit. Apparently,
clueless feels like a rattled comment. Luke, I'm all for. You've got free. Look, you can text me. You can write a paragraph in the chat. You messaged me this morning. He messaged me this morning saying I might have to write something. Yeah? And so, or you can come into Discord right now and talk to us. Use your voice.
Luke,
Get your
ass in here now. Get your ass in here now. I just need to figure it out because I'm ready to be proven wrong, and I'll happily say. Fair enough. I take your point. I will retract.
He's on Discord. Right, I'm calling you on WhatsApp now.
Call me on Discord. He's driving.
Is that?
Hang on. Just while you're doing that, I've just noticed quickly on Man United's squad on their official website, they've got Mason Greenwood, but like in black and white, like he's died. But all the other players are in colour. It's weird. Like, just take him off the website.
Yeah, that is. Well, no, because he's on loan, isn't he?
Yeah, but there are other players on loan that are not here.
Hello, mate.
Right.
Is he going to pick up?
Rattled is the word, mate. Rattled is the word.
Well, I mean, look, open forum. Explain yourself.
Yeah.
Put it in through that bit.
First of all, I want to say this, Jim. I know Flav doesn't look at football outside of the top 8 in the Premier League, so I didn't expect him to understand this. But I thought you as a football fan and a football league fan would have done a little bit more research before saying that this is terrible. But that doesn't matter. That's not the point, okay? A couple of things. First thing is, he was there since he was, 7, 8 years old, came through the first team. So the retirement of the shirt, first and foremost, was a statement of, if you come through at Birmingham City, you can make it into the first team and go on a journey, right? Listen, let me talk. I understand that after a season, he went, okay? But it was one of the points of it was a statement to say, look, you can come through and you can really make it at this football club if you want to, right? Secondly, he was a talent that was trying to get snapped up since the age of 10, 11, 12. And he stayed at Blues to A, see a progression and go and play professional football, but B, also make sure that the club was looked after. And on the finance point, that's really the main point on this. It is genuinely true that he didn't have to sign a pro contract for us. He could have left for literally pennies. But when Dortmund came in for him, he made sure that he signed professional contracts and his family, so he's not looked after by an agent, he's looked after by his family. His family said, you've got to make sure Birmingham City get paid a market value for Jude, so that we go. Now, again, to add some context to that, at the time, our owners have thankfully gone now, we've got some new owners in, but at the time, they were running us into the ground. We were losing like 40 million quid a year, and without that 26 million quid we got from Bellingham firstly, we would have probably literally gone into admin and God knows what else. The club literally just kept deep diving. So he allowed us to at least stay average in the Championship, which again is not a great achievement, but we managed to do that. And then also when he got sold from Dortmund this year, we ended up getting, I think, another 9 million quid, which has allowed us this summer to go and buy a squad which makes us competitive again. So in total, the Bellingham family and Jude have given the club 35 million quid when they didn't have to do it. So for me, it's more of a gesture in saying you basically saved the football club and you're one of us who's come through the academy. And it's a nice gesture to him to say thank you. Realistically, it's the number 22. Like, no one even plays in that number anyway. They might start to now. Jude's, made it his own, and now he's gone to Madrid. Potentially, he's going to wear 5. But really, if we're being honest, the 22 number's not an iconic number anyway. But I just think it was more a fact of what he did for the football club is a lot more important than just he was there for a season, then we sold him, and why are you doing it? It's so tin pot. That's my opinion.
Okay. Very good. Well put. Well put. Right.
Thank you.
Well done. Okay, hang on.
Enjoy that.
Well done. Well done. All right, Flav, your camera's gone. Oh, he's back.
Sorry
right.
about that. Sorry.
Okay. What I will say to that, well put, I will say, right?
Yeah, very well done.
Very well put. Very well put. Lee Cook. Remember Lee Cook?
Yeah.
No, you don't. I do, right? I do, because he,
Never
poor
heard of him.
bloke, right? He was our best player at QPR, and he went to Fulham, I think, for 250 grand. I think. Or maybe more than that, 1.25, something like that. Basically, Lee Cook gave that money, the money for the sale or whatever, and went, and his signing on fee, to QPR to save QPR, right? Out of his pocket. And he went to Fulham, okay? Unbelievable stuff, right? I'll remember that forever. He saved the club. And then literally like about a week later, we got bought by the third richest man in the world. So it was like, one absolute waste of time. Okay? And he's a QPR fan as well. Did we retire his shirt, Flav?
I don't think you did.
No, it didn't.
Look, I enjoyed listening to that, and
Yeah, I feel a little bit bad now. I do feel a little bit.
I feel a little bit bad. Look, I just think he didn't have to do it. Jude, Bellingham should have gone. No, don't do that. But look, if he saved your club, he saved your club. I guess.
If they're not going to do that and they do want to provide some form of gesture, what is the gesture?
Build a statue.
See, I think a statue's probably just as bad, isn't it?
Yeah, of course it is. Of course it is.
I feel like I've been gently sat back into my place there by Luke. So well done, Luke.
Yeah, no, well done, Luke. I mean, I just think, no, fair play. Look, this doesn't that show you, based on what Luke just explained to us, what kind of character he has and why he's going to make it to the top. And like, there was some issues, weren't they, with him walking into the Borussia Dortmund dressing room, and he was like, "No, I'm the leader. I'm essentially the guy." And I read some stuff in the Athletic. I think that there were some players that didn't like it, but for someone at a young age to go, "No, this is where I belong.
I'm the captain now.
And I'm going to lead this group." He doesn't look and doesn't hold himself like a kid. He looks like he deserves to be there. Like, it's like he just fits in that Real Madrid shirt, and it's not always easy for a player to do that.
Yeah, it's amazing.
But I still don't understand the like Birmingham City fans like following him around. Like, Kane is the best player we've ever had at Tottenham.
Yeah, no.
Can I just illustrate my point?
Yeah,
the best player that we've ever had, and I hope he fails miserably at Bayern Munich.
Your camera's wobbling, by the way. Do you know? I don't know why. Maybe it's because you're touching the desk or something. Something's wobbling.
Oh no, I haven't attached it.
Right. Sure, I would say. So I'm big. I feel like Eze's successes at times are mine because you were rooting for him from the start. That's what it is. It's like when you've got like a band that you really like, and then they hit it big, and you were there before they were big. It's that.
Yeah.
That's what it is. That's what it is.
Fair play.
Right, we've got lots to get through, so let's get through it. The Jim Big Laugh Award. Hugh Lose Can. And so, by the way, this is the fun bit of the podcast. If you've been listening to this football chat, we've now got all sorts of little bits that come from the running order. The running order last week was very funny, and there's lots to get through. Your mind will be blown. We've got an epic reframe. We've got some intrusive thoughts. We have a lot to discuss when it comes to if you're going for a walk and people are having a kickabout and the ball comes towards you. What do you do? As well, we'll talk about that. And I would suggest possibly the end of Nosh chat. We'll finish with that. Okay. So the Jim Big Laugh Award. So these are the comments that I read and made me laugh. Hugh Lose Cant said, Flav forgetting the phrase on good authority and flailing around until he settles on, I've heard their shit, was the highlight of the fun. Tough week for you last week, actually, Flav. Elliot also said, Flav calling Hoyland Norland Pete Flav. And I think someone else said, there's another one. Well, really enjoyed. Please do this. Put timestamps in the comments, guys, because it's just really funny to go through them and you kind of caption them. Because this was one where you got the idea of Tottenham going unbeaten throughout the season gave you a heart attack. So let me just share it with you for a second. Okay, hopefully you'll see this. Can you see the stream?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's you last week.
We all just take a step back here because it's not gonna, we're not going this season unbeaten. We are going to lose games. And we were like,
"You're right." So stuff like that is really good fun. Really good fun. Well done. He's just like, we're not going to go. He had a little heart attack. Poor bloke.
Actually, if I died there.
Yeah, I mean, what a way to go. That would be a great way to go. So that made me laugh as well. Catherine, so we will have more of this. We'll have a bit of Nosh chat at the end. But Catherine made me laugh this week. Catherine is our queen. She's one of our patrons. So just some advice. If you buy the missus a spontaneous present, doesn't have to be flowers. I can guarantee there will be 100 times more of a chance of a Nosh next time. Just helping out the people to get more Noshes in the community. And then the replies were, Steve Crowent, the hero we need in those dark times. Danny, can't be expecting it though. You've got to give the gift, and if the Nosh comes, it comes. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. Dude Meister, I can't attest to this, but good on you, lad. Must be nice. I'll try it out and report back, says Mark. So, Mark, let us know how you get on.
Yeah. Good.
Right. Where are we? Oh, yeah. Sorry. This is a bit. I think this was this made me laugh, and there'll be more of these a little bit later on. This is the sort of the ball in the park thing on returning the ball, Mr. Ollie. It's the last line of it. The last 3 words of this made me laugh. When I go for a run, I've often fantasized about the scenario of nonchalantly returning a ball back to a group with a football. One time, as I'm about to pass a group of small children, ages 6 to 10, the ball bounces into my path. When I've played the scenario in my head, the ball has always been on the ground, and my go-to would be to execute a world-class Rabona. With the trajectory of the ball, I had to settle for a side-footed half-volley. As I didn't break my stride, I underestimated how much momentum I would be placing into the half-volley. So the ball was then launched at a shockingly high speed in the direction of a 6-year-old's breadbasket. I heard an audible oomph from the child as he was just able to control the ball clumsily with his forearms. It felt amazing. I just didn't see that coming right at the end of it. It felt amazing.
It felt amazing.
Doing a little half volley on the run and oomping a 6-year-old kid. It felt amazing. More of those later on. Jeff Beasley, great comment from you. Thank you very much. He said, just getting home from work around 6:20 a.m. and I thought I'd put on a video while I get changed and get ready for bed. First video that popped up was the new Jaffin. It's now 7:43 a.m. The video just ended and I realised I've still not changed and I've only taken one shoe off. Loved every second. Yes, Jeff! Love that. It was good last week, wasn't it? I think we were a bit giddy, weren't we? With the scenario of both clubs. Just very quickly, how are you feeling about, games again? Because we've both been able to enjoy... really?
Can't fucking wait.
We've both been able to enjoy the glow, though, haven't we? Of victory.
Yeah, but I kind of feel, oh man, I don't want to say this out loud because you know what's going to happen. Football.
You're going to have to now.
Bend me over. But I'm just waiting for more good stuff.
Yeah.
It's funny because we were talking on the pod, and we're talking like if you go on YouTube and football YouTube, every single one was how Postecoglou has saved Tottenham.
Mate, it's mad. It's mad. It's everywhere.
And I'm like, this is kind of this is feels a bit uncomfortable now because the cat's out the bag, and I'm like, can everyone stop telling the other teams how we play football? Like they haven't got scouts and they know exactly how. We were like, they're going to look at Postecoglou and find him out, and then we were talking about maybe there is no way to stop it. There is no tactic to stop it. And then was like, and there needs to be a rule that no one else can use his tactics for at least a season. Right, no one's allowed to do what he does. You can't.
That would be interesting to see if anyone does that. I don't think anyone would really, because he's not exactly like, De Zerbi or Pep He's not totally like any of them, really. He has his own little style. Do you know what, one thing I've said, like with Man City, I think sometimes they're able to win the league because teams are kind of beaten before they play them, and they're sort of ready to defend instead of ready to bloody the nose of Man City. And I want that. It could be that a little bit. You might have teams will sort of start to pay you so much respect, and Tottenham, you're only going to play one way, which is really attacking, and so they might actually, instead of bloodying your nose, curl up into a bit of a ball for you. Who knows? Sheffield United feels like a dangerous one though, doesn't it? Because like at home, absolutely no excuses. Absolutely no excuses. Got to be beaten there, haven't you? Cameron Archer on the break though.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's one thing against Sheffield United, but how teams like Arsenal and United and City and Liverpool, those that naturally I do worry a little bit. Because obviously there is space for teams like that to attack us. Who knows? Anyway, look, don't give a shit. Like I said, I'm happily finished 7th again if it means we're playing the football we're playing. So it's not like I'm expecting us to win the league. Although I feel like, what do you feel like, Jim? I do feel top 4 is a possibility.
I've popped you in there.
Did you?
In my favourite. Yeah, it snuck you in there. Yeah, I think why not, man? No European football as well. I don't, as long as you don't have terrible injuries.
League?
Nah, no chance. There's absolutely no. It's just a firm, simple.
I
no.
know.
Yeah.
I know.
It's just not. There's just no. There's just no way. I know.
I understand. It's impossible. It's on paper. It is impossible. I get it, but could they? Could they? I mean, no. Look, we're not. When we say could they, like we obviously know it's not going to happen. And We're not suggesting it is. We're just simply asking the question: could it happen?
Yeah.
It could happen.
Oh, yeah. Of course it could happen. Yeah. I mean, that goes without saying. But it won't. But could it?
Right. No, I appreciate that. But we're saying if it could is what we're asking. We're not, obviously, football will tell you years and years and years of telling us it can't. It won't. But I'm merely asking the question, could it? And it could.
I honestly think, right, just to give you an understanding.
Yeah.
If QPR got in the playoffs this year, right?
Yeah.
And got into the Premier League, don't even get me started. Which they can't do. There's no way they can do that.
They can't.
But right, that would be a bigger achievement. Just to put it into your mind, that would be a bigger achievement than you winning the league.
I understand what you're saying, Jim. This is what I'm saying.
So, which is good because I don't have to worry about it because it can't happen.
I'm not worried about it. I'm not even putting in. No one's worried about it. We're just merely having a conversation.
Sure. Right. One thing that came from last week's podcast, which has it's been, it's been wild, really, was we're talking about the thick and the thin, and the need for you to go through the thick to get to the thin. Now, later on that evening, there was a comment from Mick Banner saying, "Am I the only one that thought thick was the good bit and thin being the bad?" Now, innuendo aside. And Jimmy said, "I always thought thick meant abundance and thin meant scarcity. So thick, good, thin, bad."
Yeah. No, look, I mean, we've already addressed this. We're
not. We haven't on the pod. Like, so I put it on Twitter, and I put it on Twitter, and there was a poll. I put a poll, and the poll said that thick was the good bit.
Good. Yeah, but also people voted for Brexit. So you can't, don't trust polls. If you're going through, think of it literally. If you're going through...
Sorry, Polls, he says there. He doesn't mean Polish people. I don't want you getting in trouble.
No, all right, thanks. If you're going... So the term is going through, support your partner through thick and thin, right? When you're getting married, or whatever it might be. If you're going through something... How could it possibly be more difficult to go through something that's thin than something that's thick? It doesn't make any literal sense. Therefore, thick is the difficult. Thin is the good shit.
So I appreciate what you're saying. The vote was 53% to thick, right? Gabriel Sutton, who is a scholar of football, he said thick, surely. Now, I think I've got to it. So this is one thing, right? Oh, this is it. I think I'm going to say Bogforan or Bogan. It is derived from an old hunting expression, through thicket and thin wood. The thicket is a group of trees or bushes that grow close together. The first recorded use of the phrase can be found in Geoffrey Chaucer's Canterbury Tales.
I mean, you can't argue with Chaucer.
No, you can't. So I think you're fair enough. But what I think this is, because I was chatting to my parents about this yesterday as they were looking after my lovely, beautiful son. And I asked them the question and they agreed with me, and it blew their mind a bit. And I think what we realised is generally what you do is you align thick and thin with good and bad. You don't go through the bad times and the good. You say through the good times and the bad, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think people have generally gone good then bad, and so with that phrase they then think thick and thin, and how do I process that in my mind? You think plentiful and scarce.
Yeah, no, I get it, but it doesn't make them any less wrong.
But why are you right when the poll said you're wrong and I thought differently?
The poll's opinion, we've literally had the definition of where it comes from. Through thicket and thin.
All right. Chaucer, he wouldn't lie, would he?
Chaucer
would he?
Lie.
Are there any examples of Chaucer lying? That's what I want to know. Here's a question for you. Ready?
Also, if we were wrong, it ruins that entire bit. So we've got to fiercely defend it. What I thought was a class bit of improv.
It was good.
It was good. And then someone wanted to fucking ruin it. Just don't ruin it.
Well, no, and you've proved it right. We're learning, and your minds will be blown in just a second as well.
I'd had a drink, right? When that you sent me a message through about, I don't know, was it about 7:30, 8 o'clock, and I've been on the sofa for an hour drinking wine. And I was like, this is really irritating me.
Yeah.
I was rattled, genuinely rattled.
Really?
Yeah.
It was getting to you.
Just trying to enjoy my evening. Trying to enjoy my evening.
How Battlefield slaps, doesn't it? From Pat Bannister.
You've been listening, have you?
I'm straight on it. I told you I'd never listen. Battlefield slaps.
Mate, it's such a good album.
Slaps, mate. And what's the one?
What did you listen to?
That one. Best shot. Hit me with your best shot.
Best shot.
Right.
Yeah, mate. She's. I mean, and I don't know. There's something about her. I know she's like 70 now. Probably still would.
Okay.
In the heat of the night, what a tune! Just amazing.
Right.
No,
Jimmy,
you don't.
Jimmy, I always thought. Oh, we've done that. Oliver, here's a question: is your team's entire season worthless if they finish the season with a 0 goal difference? It's obviously not, but is it?
But is it? Yeah.
Is it worth? Depends on how many goals you score.
Have you wasted everybody's time?
Yeah, if you score loads of goals and you win and lose loads of games, it is kind of worthless. But at the same time, ultimately, it's definitely not because you've had
because but if it's like low scoring and you're like it's lots of 0-0s and 1-1s, then you've wasted everyone's time.
Yeah. Do you know, did I say this the other day? I've got another epic reframe. Maybe there's something to touch on next week. Let me know what you think in the comments. This feels like it's its own podcast, and there's a few things here we might have to move to another podcast because I think they're exciting things in their own right. But we'll chuck them out there. The one. Do Barcelona win? How much do Barcelona win if Messi never exists? So you still got Xavi, you still got all those guys. You still got Eto'o. You still got, you got other strikers, David Villa, bring all those players. How much of a jump does Messi create? Massive. Do they beat Man United in? Is tic-tac enough? Is it enough? Or are we looking at that? They probably
do win. Yeah, but no, he's contributed, I don't know where this figure's come from, but 30 to 40% of their success on his own. Like He's the best player that's ever lived. Of course, he had a massive impact on how much they won.
So if you take him out, because basically, if you take him out of that team, how good is that team?
Excellent, still excellent, but just not the same. It's still, they would have won less. I don't know what else to say other than that.
Would they have won? Would they have definitely won a Champions League? Against what is generally seen as as the best Man United team of all time. They played them twice.
not definitely, obviously, but possibly. That's not a very good answer, is it?
Okay, good.
Jim,
maybe it's another time. Maybe it's another time.
Jim, can I just say that what's really fucking irritating me at the moment is like how like film stars are now going to watch Inter Miami because Messi's playing, and I don't mind if they react and trying to adopt the culture, right? Everyone's allowed to go football. But I saw Selena Gomez go like this. Like that. It's fun now, isn't it?
Right.
I saw her do that when the ball was just shot into the keeper's arms and he gathered it into the stomach. And it was like she'd witnessed a scissor kick from outside the box. And I'm like, you don't get it.
Yeah, I hear that. My mate lives in LA, and his mate's got an LAFC season ticket or two, and he had one spare, so he was able to go watch Messi against LAFC, and he said it was insane. He said people were there hours before the game for the tailgate thing, and then the atmosphere is like crazy. There's a helicopter going the whole time. Security.
Just want to be clear, I was in no way criticizing anything around American football.
Right.
I was merely saying Selena Gomez needs to know what she gets excited about when she's watching football.
Right.
Someone should have said, no, that happens all the time.
She needs to train for the role. I hear that.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe she's into football. You don't know. You don't know.
I'm making an assessment from what I saw, and I don't think she is.
Right.
But the tailgate culture, I like that. And I think that it's not something you would be allowed to do in England. But yeah, it seems like
Right, I'm going to read a couple of things here. I don't think we've got time to talk about them, but at some stage I would like to talk about them. Okay.
Yeah.
So Samuel Brooke-Williams. I just thought this is from 2 weeks ago, and I didn't get it in the other week. I think it's good. I think it's interesting, and they're together. Right. Hi, Flames. Love the show. Got a question for you, Master Slugs.
You know what? That's a throwback.
Flames, yeah. Do you think the league would be better with spending caps? The TV money alone is around 80 million quid a year. So include advertising and stuff. Say the clubs get 100 million a year. What would happen if all the Premier League clubs were limited to that 100 million? Some clubs already have a load of expensive players, but even if they sell them, like Salah for 150 million, for instance, the club is still limited to spending 100 million. Just an idea. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Wet slug. And so
definitely would like to talk about that at length.
Yeah. So I think should we get people's thoughts on this, and maybe this is next week's pod for us.
Yeah. So, see what people think about it, and we'll talk around that. Yeah, that'd be good.
In a similar vein, Amylodins. The main difference in leagues like the A-League or J-League is that there are structures in place to keep the teams even, salary caps, etc. So you can't buy your way to a title. You need smart recruitment, fantastic man management, and great tactical ability. So again, within the same thing, if you gave every manager 100 million to spend, or every club 100 million to spend, and it's a blank slate, where do you think, which managers would do the best with that money? Save it for next week.
Yeah, I also would like to ask a question if everybody had the same level of player, i.e., say you went to League One or something, right, and everyone had more or less the same level of player. It's much more even, isn't it, than the Premier League? What manager would come on top?
Yeah.
Who would be able to do the most? And I'm going to say, Big Ange Postecoglou. Anyway.
Okay. Sorry, I've just come.
What can you say? Jim, just quickly, when I don't know if this is true, but someone told me, so I'm just going to say it like it is true. Right. When Postecoglou won the league with Brisbane Roar, he did it using 80% of his salary cap. Didn't even use it all. Didn't need it.
I think we'll have this game. Okay.
Just come.
Sorry, I've just come. Right. If you don't know what that is, Google it. And you're definitely younger than us. Mind blown.
Sorry, I've just come.
Rice and peas. The reason we drive on the left in the UK and not on the right, like most other places, is because when jousting was a sport in the medieval times, they used to attack from the left. It was the first introduction to the rule, in what way must travel, and has been the same ever since. Did you also know that a hot tap is always on the left because it's hot and cold? Know that?
Hey, I knew it was already left, but I don't know why just going hot and cold is an explanation of it.
Right. Saj, this blew my mind. Ancient Egyptian society lasted so long that they had their own ancient history. So the time between the first pyramid being built and the last pharaoh being alive was longer than the time between the last pharaoh being alive and now. Just like that.
That doesn't blow my mind.
No, it didn't blow. That's good. Oh, that's good.
No,
I want to know if it has. Let it
easily. I've allowed it. I'm not fucking.
More of a shrug, isn't it? More of a shrug of the shoulders, really.
Yeah,
okay. That's good. I'll throw them at you and see if you can see if it does blow your mind.
No, I'm not. My mind is intact.
I think this is a wind up, and I'm calling it a wind up now. But I'm just going to chuck it out there. Jack P says, "Prepare to have your mind blown. You can't touch the palm of your hand against your shoulder on the same side." I can.
I can't. I can.
See,
what is it?
I don't know. I think he's just trying to get us to. Just done it.
No, it's not easy, Jim. I can't. Is he talking about this bit? I cannot get my palm to there.
You can't touch the palm of your hand against your shoulder on the same side.
This is here. It's your shoulder's here. You can't. You cannot do that, Jim.
Oh, right. I see what you mean.
You can't do it. It's right.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
But
I would have expected that. I would have expected.
It hasn't blown my mind because it's like, it's so like, all right, yeah, I can see it. My arms doesn't bend that far.
Yeah, especially with guns like we've got. Especially when we're dealing with these kind of pistons.
Mm.
Okay. And Guy Chillingworth, mind blown. Heard one that ruined my day. When you're relaxing your mouth / jaw, so do that. Your tongue doesn't sit on the bottom of your mouth. It rests against the roof of your mouth.
It does, yeah. It's weird.
Okay. Intrusive thoughts. I have a bit of an intrusive thought that pops up whenever I see a toddler or a small child of a certain height walking. I can't help myself but imagining myself volleying the child's head off, a la Zidane versus Bayer Leverkusen in 2001. It would just be a seamless volley at hip height. As I'm writing, I'm starting to wonder whether these are normal intrusive thoughts to have, to be honest. Okay.
Yep.
Right. How far is too far? So the ball rolling thing, right? So last week we spoke about how if you're in the park, possibly with your partner, and people having a kick about, and the ball rolls to you, what do you do? How do you approach it? What's your inner monologue? All those things.
Yeah.
Matthew Long says, whenever a ball rolls to me, as a former defender, the temptation is to shield the ball until it stops. Like, just see it out.
Yeah. See it out.
See it out. See it out. Always a dangerous thing, that. One of the few times my dad got so my dad would come and watch me a lot, right? And he didn't really want to watch it with everyone else because I think he got annoyed. So he'd always go and stand by the right back when I was playing for Cobham.
Yeah.
He'd always go and stand by the right back and watch it kind of on his own, away from the dugouts. He just didn't want to be involved. He wanted to concentrate. And I for a brief period, we started to play a back three, and I was the sweeper in a back three. Okay. And the ball, because essentially I used to do that.
Old-fashioned sweeper behind.
Yeah, I played sweeper quite a lot. Because it's essentially the same kind of idea as a defensive midfielder. You would sweep that midfield, but I would just do. Yeah. I was able to read the game. And anyway, so the ball went into the corner. And into that right corner, and I tried to do the shield it out, be clever, and I got pickpocketed like people do, and they very nearly scored, very nearly scored.
Dad was fuming.
My dad was fuming, and he said to me after, he said, "If you kick it out, no one will ever have a go at you." And I was like, "Do you know what, Dad? That's a good point."
The thing is, though, football's changed now.
Football has changed, Dad. Yeah.
Yeah. You should hear my dad when we're trying to play out from the back. Have I told you about this before?
Yeah. In this scenario, I was on my own.
And it was a different time.
Yeah,
it was a different time.
Just get rid, son.
But it's like my dad's like, I know, Dad, that you don't like us playing it out from the back and you think it's all this bullshit playing out from the back. I get it, Dad. But can we not have it mentioned 7 times a game, every game that we ever watch to each other? So let's all just agree we shouldn't be playing it out from the back, right? And then just shut up about it.
Do you know what you should do?
It's not going to go away.
Do you know what you should do? You should take a quote of his, jot it down, frame it, put it on the wall, and go, okay, right, we're going to sit and watch this game. I know, before we sit down, I know, look, it's there on the wall. Like, why won't they just fucking get it up the other end? Got it. I know.
But he has softened because he's gone from just fucking kick it long just to now go, playing it long is an option. You can do it every now and then. But now it's going, this is actually quite good.
My dad does. We're not doing this with Ainsworth, but under Warburton, he used to do this. You go, just do, that's just going. I was just like, stop it, man. Come on. Right, Jack Byrne. This is the top comment last week. He said, on the chat of when a ball rolls to you in the park, I had the most mortifying moment a couple of weeks ago. I had the dog out on a walk in the local park, and some kids were out playing football. One of them has a stray shot, and it ends up rolling in my direction, near enough that it was acceptable for me to pass it back, but far enough away that I had to do a light jog to get over to it. Because of this, I had time to think about my technique and settled on playing the safe option of a simple side-foot pass. I proudly stride up to do so, only for my over-exuberant dog to jump in and essentially tackle me, making me scuff the ball and send it about 5 yards further away. Had to sheepishly mutter, sorry lads, and go over to have another go. Walked off feeling utterly ashamed and worried about what group of kids, at least 20 years younger than me, thought of my efforts. Tough.
Good. So you should. That's poor.
Mike Bird said, the question is, did you redeem yourself with the second attempt? A brave man would follow up with a rainbow flick and a clean volley. Yeah, that's a good shout.
Look, sometimes when I'm feeling proper brave, right, when the ball gets played to, I used to do this trick where you can flick it up. Like you bring your leg round and use the back foot to flick it up into the air and then you volley it.
Sure.
There's a couple of times I've tried it and it's worked.
Nice.
And I thought that I look like, but it's too try hard, right?
Yeah,
you nail it. You look like a dick.
Yeah. He said the damage was done, so simple side footer, then got the fuck out of there. And whispering to the dog that he was a wanker. Very good. Right, this is elite. Mark Bell, great work. I'm a 33-year-old high school teacher and slightly past my physical prime. Any attempt at engaging in sports as a professional, respected teacher is fraught with risk. One day, walking across the school oval at recess, I spotted a kid putting a huge bomb with a rugby ball. Putting up a huge bomb with a rugby ball. So, obviously, kicking the ball up as high as he could.
Yeah.
And I calculated pretty quickly it was heading my way. My eyes lit up with the possibilities, but I was acutely aware of the loss of power and respect if it goes pear-shaped. I was picturing a possible stumble, a split in my trousers, and the children having all the laughter at my expense. No. I'd have to play this casual, non-committal. This wasn't my time to relive the glory years of youth. The rugby ball flew just in behind me as I took my last stride. I flung my leg behind my back and attempted a scorpion kick.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. The meaty part of my dress shoes made perfect connection and the ball flew right back in the direction it came, approximately landing in their area. A casual wave and a nod without breaking stride. Love that. Do you know who loves that? But he's done it too many times that it's now like you clearly love doing this. Mark Hughes. If the ball comes near him, every bone, his body is exploding from the in and out, desperate to run to the ball or the ball to come to him so he can do some kind of little flick.
Yeah, he loves it.
So, but as a one-off, that's great work. Beautiful. Thing is now, Mark, you can't touch the ball again. You go, well, you can sort of shrug. You go, look, you've seen what I can do. You've seen the scorpion kick. You don't need that from me anymore. Oh, this is tough. Turkey fish. I remember as a teen, I was practicing in a cricket net with my dad, and some guys were playing football on a pitch next to me. The ball came over to me, and a guy came over saying, "Here, mate." I completely panicked and toe poked it, kicking it completely away from him, and the ball span and actually ended up further from where he'd kicked it. My dad must have felt secondhand embarrassment because all I heard, and so I can't figure out how is this said, right? What tone is this said? All I heard was, "Oh, Jamie." Was it? Was it? "Oh, Jamie. Oh, Jamie. Oh, Jamie.
Oh, Jamie. Oh, Jamie." No, it's one of them ones, isn't it? Oh, Jamie. What have you done?
Oh, Jamie. Yeah. Disappointingly, from the other end of the cricket net. I've never kicked a ball back since. There's more, and they're great, but I don't want to do too many.
Well, you can read them yourselves.
Yeah, that's true. Go back to, too far. So this is an intrusive thought in a football park, Ross Simpson says. So what would you do here? Oh, no, has Ross gone too far? I just want to get your thoughts on this one. When West Ham were away to Ghent last season, me and my cousin, both very drunk, saw 3 Belgian boys playing football in a square. So I told him, his cousin, to ask for the 1-2 from the Belgians and then just munt the ball away as far as he could. He approached them, and then upon asking, they told us that they didn't pass to the English people anymore, and they'd already done it 3 times. You'd have thought they'd have learned their lesson after 2. And each time they'd passed it to them when people had asked, English people had asked, they'd then booted it down the street. Some may see it as the Brits abroad being dickheads, but I prefer to see it as a cultural exchange with football ideology. Get out the fucking pitch, lads. Lovely place, though, Ghent. Would recommend. Thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it's mean. Is this what we're talking about? Should they have booted it away?
Oh, it's it is a bit dickish, I've got to be honest.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it. It wouldn't be something for me. But it just reminded me of, you wouldn't know about this, Jim, right? But when you go away with Europe, with your team, your club.
Oh, that really fucking hurt. That really hurt. So I'm running out of time, mate. I'm literally, as is my father. We are running out of time for a European tour.
I'm sorry. I'm genuinely sorry. I didn't mean that. I feel bad. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I read a comment the other day.
They're overrated. They're overrated. You're not missing anything.
I read a comment the other day, and there was someone saying, I was a Forest fan, and we were bottom of the championship, and sort of like, now look at us, look how things can change. So we live in hope. We live in hope.
Also, mate, yeah, absolutely. Anyway, on these trips, in the square, you'll get someone turn up with a football, and it then becomes a massive game of football. But there's no competitiveness to it. You're just hoping the ball lands at you, so you can then smash it up into the sky as high as it goes. Anyway, we're standing next to this bloke, and he's so into this, it's unreal. He's watching the ball, he's like, hey! And it's bouncing off a window or a balcony, and he's like, yeah, he's loving it. He's loving life, this geezer. It finally lands at him, right? Lands at his feet, and he grabs it, and you could see the joy. He's like, this is all I've been waiting for. He was into this more than the game later. He was loving it. And I'm standing next to him, and he just lifts the ball up in the air, takes a step back to boot it, and I just tow it out from his way so that he can't kick it.
That's class.
I felt so bad, but I couldn't not do it. It was right in front of me. Just a little nudge in it.
Yeah, I love that.
And
have you seen that with...
You fucking arsehole! You arsehole!
That was a challenge.
Sorry, mate. Sorry, I couldn't not do it. I'm sorry.
Which European trips are you going to go on this year?
Mate, I don't give a shit. I've been on loads. That doesn't work, Jim.
I know. It popped in my head about 20 seconds ago. I'm still saying.
You're giggling to yourself, weren't you?
I was waiting for it. I was waiting for the opening. I thought it might get something. Nah, you've done me there. Nah. Right, Jim in the Wild. Ready? Jim in the Wild.
What, you were spotted?
I was spotted, and I was. Someone did an analysis of me. Ready?
Go on.
Ollie Murray, Jim in the Wild. I saw him a couple of weeks back at the Brentford Palace game, which I was at. My mate Dom's got him and his mates have got a season ticket, but 2 of them don't live near off now, so it's a bit of a trek for them. One's in Sheffield, one's in York. So you may see me again. So what did I notice most? Was it he small? Was it that he was smaller than expected? Was it that he was pointing around the pitch, telling his friend where the players should be? No. Biggest takeaway was how vigorously he chewed gum. I could see it from 10 rows back, as if he was in a film trying to look hard, knowing he was behind enemy lines and at any moment he could be spotted and battered. Neil from the in-betweeners vibe. There were a few comments on replies on it, and one was spot on. I like to chew. It's a bit sort of like, well, at QPR, I'll get through a pack. I do like to get through a pack. So that's what that was in terms of the vigorous chewing.
So it's stuff like this that makes me super paranoid when I'm going football. Like part of the reason, not the whole reason, but it's mainly down to geography and how far I live away from Tottenham. But part of the reason I don't go is I'm so paranoid about someone. Well, it's not a paranoid about people recognizing me. It happens. But what's weird about it, because the podcast, I've been doing it for so long, and because of the overlap and stuff, what happens is that people look at you, but then they obviously don't say anything. Like, that's what I would do if I recognize someone from somewhere and I can't quite vaguely place them. But it ends up that you're walking through the thing and it's happening constantly, and you become so self-aware about everything that it's a really uncomfortable thing. It's weird. I wish I do sort of long for the days where you could go football without and just go to the game, and that's what it was.
I think once I'm sat down, this doesn't help, but like, cheers, Ollie. Generally, I think like once I'm sat down, like no one's really watching me. I get lost. I get totally lost in it all the time. So I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
but I imagine the thing with me at Brentford as well. Sorry, go.
Well, I was just saying that you're saying things about Spurs that people disagree with, and people get really passionate about football, and I'm like, there's people in this crowd that probably would like to punch me, or what aren't sending positive vibes, and that's another thing I'm really sort of.
Yeah, I know. That is, well, you just the fear is that you don't know what other people are doing. Tommy, I know. I just read it. Tom's so funny, man. So Tom Jordan, who is in the narrative, he's killing it. He posted this tweet. So obviously, the narrative, we have someone from each club, and I'm really excited because we're starting to sort of find characters now that are sort of, obviously I want different people to do it all the time, but certain people do it each week generally, and we're starting to kind of gather like a bit like, obviously like this, like we know Tom, like we know Ollie, we know Reese, we know people, and Tom's obviously one of those. Anyway, he clipped it up. He went try and find someone who smiles at you like the way that James smiles at Tom when he comes up on the narrative. Because every time he comes up on the narrative, I always like, I've got this big grin on my face. I'm really excited to see him.
What was weird with Tom? Just I did a preview for the Spurs game with him, and he was like really, obviously taking it seriously because it's his channel and he wants to take it seriously, but. All I know him for is making stupid little comments
winding him up, yeah. But anyway, so Tom's got a channel called Back of the Net. So if you need Bournemouth knowledge, go there. And he just said he's he's often on the overlap, but often doesn't get spoken to enough. And so he's just said in terms of getting recognised. Know what you mean? You the little kid behind Machin in the overlap. That's
there was one time he drove up. Actually, I'll leave it.
Mate,
he drove to Bournemouth.
You need to fight for him. You need to fight for him. You need to go, right, before we start, Gary and Jamie, before they introduce you on, Gary, instead of you just being sat there, don't get me started on that. Can we make sure we get to Bournemouth?
What do you think is happening up there, Jim? Do you think that I'm walking around talking to Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher? Is that what you think?
Because you're one of the bigger teams, so your dick's just out all the time, isn't it?
They don't.
He's the top one.
Yeah, I don't have any influence. I turn up, I say something, and I leave.
You sit a little bit too close to Paul Machin, and then you leave. Yeah, that's true.
Look, that's the only chance I get to sit next to Paul Machin. I'm going to fucking use that to its fullest.
I hear that. Right, the end of Nosh Chat. Feels like the end. And I think I'm literally going to finish the podcast after this. So thank you, everyone, for watching, listening, supporting the podcast. I think we've had a really strong start to the season, and that feels wonderful. I think the pod feels good this year, which is great. Always feels good. And the mailbags are really good fun as well. So if you want to join us on Patreon, please do. Link is in the description. Flavs, anything you'd like to say?
No.
Okay.
Yes. All right. Thanks for downloading and watching once again.
Good. Oh, do you know what? Do you know what would be nice?
Follow my fucking Instagram.
So follow Flav's Instagram, and also could you follow the audio version of this podcast? That would be great. It's on Spotify and it's on. Just
listen to that. Listen to that.
Yeah, because weirdly our numbers aren't great on that, but that's fine.
No,
but
they are. We haven't put people don't know what it's there.
Yeah.
It's there.
Right. So I'm literally going to end the podcast after this. Archie Marshall should have said his name. Oh well. Nosh Chat. Take this into your weekend, guys. Having spent a long month apart from my girlfriend over the summer break from uni, we were reunited last week, and in a fit of pent-up lack of physical contact, I was lucky enough to receive not one, not two, but 4 noshes in an 8-hour window.
Shit. In 8 hours? Unreal. What a girl.
Caught in a
guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Her tongue won't be on the roof of her mouth, will it? At the end of that.
Good. Look, I'm most impressed that he's managed to get it up 4 times in 8 hours.
Well, caught in a perplexing state of both admiration and appreciated for my amazing girlfriend, who I missed dearly while we were separated. And abject pain as my dick felt and sort of looked akin to a pepperami. Only forwards.